It's Edwin from Beyond the Destination. Today I would like to show you RV accessories, and we're going to categorize them in 3 different categories. First category is day one. What do you need to get started camping with your RV? Then the second category is day 2. What additional things would definitely help your RVing experience? And then the third category will have items that you don't really need but make things even better. So especially in the day 1 category, we'll show you some basic items as well as some upgraded versions of those basic items that in our opinion are worth the money upgrading right away, but the upgrades are not necessary. So let's have a look, and hope you'll gather some good info from this video. For any towable, it's strongly recommended to have wheel chocks. These are rubber wheel chocks. They're heavy. Definitely recommend to go with the rubber wheel chocks. If you go with cheaper wheel chocks, which we did for a little while, see what can happen. Our fifth wheel just rolled right over it. In our case, it was hooked up to the truck, so it was not a big deal, but it does show that they're not strong enough to really resist or handle the weight of your RV. So go with rubber ones. Much stronger, heavier. There's nothing that will happen with those. Next item on the list is a water hose. We use the 0G water hose. Can you demonstrate it, Charlotte? Where is it at? That's the 0G water hose. Rolls up really nice, doesn't kink, super light, easy to put away. This one is fairly pricey. There is a cheaper alternative. You can just get the standard white water hose. We have a couple extra of those always with us. They don't store as nice. They're heavy, especially when it's cold. They don't want to curl up as well. Do they work? Sure. Do you taste them? Nope. It is a fine solution. We prefer the 0G hoses. To empty your tanks, black or gray, you do need a sewer hose for that. This front one is a cheap one. It will get the work done if you need it to. Oh, it's windy out. Okay, we'll forget about that one. We use the Rhino hose. It's been rinsed on the outside, so no worries there. This one is super strong. It's got the caps on the end to eliminate odor. This is a 10 or 15 footer. We got 2 of them. They shrink down nicely and stay compact and store easily. So definitely recommend the Rhino hoses instead of the cheap hose. That one our RV dealer gave to us, even though we didn't need it. But we keep it around just in case we are ever short and need a few extra feet. Besides a regular freshwater hose, strongly recommend to have an additional hose for flushing your black tank. We've got this Rhino one, orange, that stands out, so we can't accidentally grab the wrong one. You don't want to use your fresh water hose on the black water rinse because you never know what's going to come back into it. So just to keep it separated. Another item used for leveling are these spacers blocks. We'll have this link in the description. You can stack them individually. Comes with 8 or 10 in a pack in our case. You can use those under the leveling legs, under the wheels. Where we use them is under the table, sometimes under the bottom of the stairs to level that out. Charlotte, can you demonstrate how that works? How do you stack them?
I stack them.
Okay, so put them down. Then you take the next one, stack it right on top, and they slot right into place. Okay, the next one on top, stacks right in place. And one more. Okay, show them how it's done. Okay, slide it in place. This way it's probably about 3 inches taller. So if you need to level something out, just like maybe your table for your Blackstone or your grill, these come in very handy and are pretty cheap. One of the must-haves is a lock for your hitch. In this case, it's a fifth wheel lock. A travel trailer lock would look different, but it's always recommended to lock your hitch so nobody else can take it. This one easily operates with the key on the bottom. You twitch the key, comes right off. So far it's been working well for us. I'm not sure if this is the best solution, but any lock is better than no lock. Another strongly recommended item is a surge protector. This one is a Progressive Industries 50 amp surge protector. There's different brands and different price ranges. This one has worked well for us. The way we use it is before we turn the power on, we only put the surge protector in, turn the power on, and then check the lights. It should have green and blue light. Once that's done, turn off the power, plug in your power cable, and turn the power back on, and you're good to go. If your RV is a 50 amp unit, we strongly recommend to get a DOGBONE to adapt from 50 amp to 30 amp for those occasions where the campground only has 30 amp available. This way you can still have power, although not as much, but you can still power your RV. Now if you're in someone's driveway or any place where there's only regular 110 available, so 15 amp or 20 amp socket, you can convert it further down from the 30 amp to 15 or 20 amp with one of these, or here's a little more robust one that we actually use. These are fairly cheap, always handy to have around in case you do need it. So this just goes into a regular outlet, and then the 30 amp plugs in here, and that's the 30 amp from the DOGBONE to the 50 amp. If your trailer is 30 amps, you would not need the DOGBONE. You can just plug straight into these. So cheap solution, always handy to have. Next item is a water regulator. Strongly recommended to have a water regulator. You would never know what kind of pressure the water is, and you don't want to blow up the lines inside the RV. We use this adjustable pressure regulator, but you can also go with a cheaper version, which is just an inline regulator at 50 psi, or there's even plastic ones that are even cheaper. Those are alternatives just for safety, for convenience, so you have some adjustability. Definitely recommend the adjustable pressure regulator. I definitely recommend having a water filter. This one is the cheap version. It's been working well for us. We replace it every probably 30 days of camping. We run it right after our water pressure regulator. before water enters the hose. This way our hose never gets contaminated. At some point we're gonna upgrade to a different system, but as a minimum definitely have one of these in place. A few more accessories for the sewer hose. This elbow came with the Rhino hose. It's got a clear end on it, just so you see when it's done flushing going into the sewer. We have this extra clear piece that we connect from the RV, or between the RV and the hose, so we know when that part has cleared out. Now we recently added this one. Some camping sites, the sewer hookup is just not very sturdy. You cannot, like, the threads could be damaged. Using this, we can get a good seal between that and our elbow, and you don't get any smells from it, so it's definitely recommended. I picked that up at Walmart. I think it was like 10 bucks, but it's definitely useful to have. Alright, my assistant Charlotte is gonna help me with the next item, which is these Andersen trailer jack blocks. Where are they, Charlotte? It's right there. What that does, it will reduce the travel of your legs, which in return reduces the amount of flex that the legs can have, and thus making your RV more stable. This can be used for motorhomes, fifth wheels, and certain travel trailers as well. And instead of the Andersen blocks, you could also use a stack of 2x6s, 2x8s, just to shorten the stroke of your leveler legs. The next item is our leveling blocks. We use the Andersen leveling blocks if the site from left to right is uneven. Charlotte says it's too heavy, but she'll demonstrate how this works. Okay, put it in place.
Okay.
Okay, so actually go on top. The black one goes on top of the red one. Move aside, sweetie. And the wheel actually sits on there. So the way you actually do it is the trailer, you back up the trailer or go forward onto here, it will balance it out, and then you slide this one underneath for support.
I'll take the red one.
Charlotte will take the red one, but this way you can adjust how high you want to lift the wheel, basically, and it will stay in place until you leave. So, and to leave, you actually, in this case, move forward a little bit to relieve the pressure, remove the red one, and then back up, and the trailer will roll off and you slide it out of place. Instead of using these Andersen blocks, you could also use 2x6s, 2x8s, cut to length. It's definitely a cheaper option. The Andersen levelers are definitely a space-saving option. The next item on our list is a TPMS for your trailer. We use the Easy Tire. It's got the sensors on the valve stems, so each of the tires has their own sensor, and then you connect those to the actual device in your truck to see what the tire pressure and the temperature is. In our case, we did have to install a repeater in the front bay of the fifth wheel because once in a while we were losing connectivity. Having a repeater fixes that problem. So if you have I would say anything over 38 foot, get the repeater with it. I think they sell it as a combo, I'm not 100% sure, but it's definitely will help with connectivity issues. Another item on the list, of course, is a Blackstone or any grill, camping grill. We love our 22-inch Blackstone. It's got the dual burner, so you have two zones, two heat zones. If your trailer has a propane quick connect, as ours does, right underneath there, get one of these hoses so you don't have to carry around the little tanks or even a big propane tank. Just get the hose, connect it to your trailer. It's got a valve on there to turn it on and off, and this way you pretty much always have propane unless your RV runs out of propane. To aid with movement of your towable, either fifth wheel or travel trailer with a dual axle or a triple axle, we would recommend some kind of X-CHOCK that locks in between the tires to reduce movement while you move around in the RV. So they just clamp in between. There's a knot on the top right here. You tie it down and it expands like this way and puts pressure on the tires. To remove, just reverse it, loosen up the nut, and remove the wheel chock. We would recommend to have one on each side to take out any motion possible. If you do a lot of camping, I would recommend getting one of these brass elbows. Instead of having to thread into the plastic every single time you hook up your hose, you thread into the brass connector. It also removes the kink from the hose, so you have your hose will always stay straight, and the actual bend happens in the brass connector. So less stress on your hose, less stress on the water inlet, and the threads stay intact because you're not always screwing and unscrewing it. I would also recommend one of these splitters, especially if you have full hookups, meaning you have sewer as well as water. The way we utilize it is this extra connection is for our black tank flush. So if we want to flush the black tank, we just have to pull the lever and water flows into the second hose without having to disconnect your main water line. Another item that we strongly recommend everybody carries with them is an air compressor. This is the Viair. It goes up to, I think, like 150 psi. Our trailer requires 110 psi, so really keep that in mind when you buy one of these, to make sure it can handle the pressure of the tires that you need them to. We had a cheaper one before and it just could not go up to 110, so we upgraded to the Viair, and this has been great. Pumps up much quicker. It's got a long coil hose. It's got, you can control the airflow here, and it's got a pressure gauge on it, so you can see how much pressure is in your tires. So I strongly recommend it. Always keep the pressure in your tires where it should be. These covers are recommended as well, depending probably on where you live or where you store it. If you store it outside like we do, or camp a lot like we do, these help keep the bugs out. In this case the furnace, but we have them on the water heater as well. Any opening just to keep bugs out. They're just attached with a spring, so you can actually move them around. You can see the spring in there if you look closely. But it's just convenient and one less thing to worry about. Well, there you have it. RV accessories to get you started and keep you going and enjoy your trips. We'll leave you with some nice thunder that we had in the background one of the nights that we were camping recently. So thanks for watching. Please subscribe and comment if you have any other suggestions for RV accessories, and we'll see you at the next video.